This is the Redmi Note 13, an upgrade to last year's Redmi Note 12, and it comes with some noticeable upgrade like a primary 108 megapixel camera. There is a little bit of refinement in terms of design and display, but most of the remaining features look like what we had on the Redmi Note 12. Phone is looking like the best option if you have a budget of around $150. Specs on paper, you might think is the right phone for you. While that may be true in some aspects, there are also some things you need to know before you go ahead and buy the phone. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Audu and all we do here is review different types of tech gadgets. If this is your first time here, then kindly subscribe to the channel, and if you're someone who has constantly been coming back to watch our videos, then I want to say a big thank you. We are kicking things off with the 108 megapixel camera because I've used it a lot since I got the phone. The images you get with the 108 megapixel option in the camera app are great and well detailed. Colors remain true to life and I love it. You can even zoom into the pictures and you are still going to get a decent amount of details. While using the 108 megapixel option, you are going to see that you get good background blur. You get a 3x zoom option, which is cool, but something in me wishes it has a 10x zoom because that is what we have on the 108 megapixel camera of the Tecno Spark 20 Pro. Daylight pictures in general are very good with the 108 megapixel camera, but you need to make sure your hands are steady while snapping the pictures. If you shake your hands a bit, the pictures are going to appear a little bit blurry. The default snapping option in the camera app isn't the best, especially when you compare the quality of photos you get when you go for the 108 megapixel option. By default, it shoots 12 megapixel pictures, and that is why the quality cannot be compared with what we have on the 108 megapixel pictures. You also get the option to zoom up to 10x while using the default 12 megapixel camera. It comes with an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens, and the images you get while using the ultra wide lens aren't really the best because you can notice some amount of noise in the pictures. I feel the 2 megapixel micro lens on this phone shouldn't have been added in the first place because you get more better quality shots when you go close up to an object or maybe someone or something with the 108 megapixel camera or the default option. There is night mode in the camera app and I was surprised by what it produced. You actually need to know that there is a little bit of delay between the time you tap the shutter button and the time you get the actual button, and if your hands shake in any of those moments, you are going to end up getting a blurry picture. Portrait mode on the phone works well for humans and objects as well. The 16 megapixel selfie camera is definitely an upgrade against the 13 megapixel we had on the Redmi Note 12. You're definitely going to get good images in an environment that has good light. Portrait mode using the selfie is also very good. My biggest problem with the camera is that it can only shoot 1080p videos at 30 frames per second, which is weird because the Tecno Spark 20 Pro that I have with me right here can shoot up to 2K at 30 frames per second. You can also record slow-mo videos, but it's 720p at 120 frames per second, and in my opinion, it shouldn't have even made it to the phone. You get pro mode, panorama and short video in the camera app as well. If you want to get good pictures on the Redmi Note 13, then you definitely need to use the default 108 megapixel option. Another interesting aspect was the software. I haven't seen so much customization option packed in a $150 phone, and I believe it is one of those aspects that separates the phone from other phones within its price category. It is running on Android 13 and MIUI 14, and I believe the phone is going to receive an upgrade to the HyperOS pretty soon, but it is not promised. Once you finish booting up the phone, you're going to be asked if you want to use gestures or buttons. The phone comes with a bit of bloatware, but you can remove them if you want. If you tap on the fingerprint scanner and swipe up after it unlocks, you get quick access to some features like search and a scanner. I wish Xiaomi will replace the options there with some frequently used apps. There is a wallpaper carousel when you unlock the phone, but I had to remove it in the settings, and I know most people don't like the options. If you check the settings, you are going to see how you can remove it. I found that to be intrusive while using the phone. You can use one hand mode, but it has to be enabled in the settings of the phone. There is a hidden heart rate sensor in the settings of the phone, and you just have to place your finger for some minutes and it's going to start measuring your heart rate. I don't know if this is accurate or not. Floating windows work well on the phone, but I suggest you bring out the sidebar so that it's going to be easy to access the floating windows and apps that are compatible with that feature. You can change the notification shade to the old MIUI or the most recent one, which is one of the options we don't see on other competing phones around the price of $150. You also get memory extension where you can use some parts of the storage space to increase the RAM of the phone from 6 gigs to like 12 gigs. Ideally, I don't really see the effect of memory expansion, not just on Xiaomi phones, on all the phones that come with this feature. There are a lot of features to explore on the phone, and I feel I can make a separate video talking about hidden features that are inside the Redmi Note 13. The MIUI looks so much better, especially when you compare it to other softwares like the HiOS or the XOS that we have on Tecno and Infinix phones. Apps are pretty much one of the most prominent problems of the MIUI, and they are still there. But Xiaomi has found a way to make sure they don't pop up all the time. They have also given users some control over the type of ads that they want to see. The phone is powered by the Snapdragon 685, which is the same thing we had on the Redmi Note 12 4G. The CPU and GPU are also the same, and you can play games like PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile smoothly on the phone. I think you're going to be very comfortable with the performance of this phone, bearing in mind that it costs only $150. My unit here has 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage, but there is a variant out there with 8 gigs RAM with 128 or 256 gigs UFS 2.2 storage. App retention in the background is decent most of the time, and I wish they used a different chipset on this phone, but it is what it is. The Redmi Note 13 4G is hands down one of the most difficult phones to film. It has a glossy plastic finish at the back, and the midnight black color option that I have here is prone to showing off stains. Every single time your hand comes in contact with the phone without a case, you are definitely going to see some stains at the back. Thankfully, Xiaomi is giving you a matte rubber case that fits the phone perfectly. I'd like to see more brands add this type of case instead of the transparent silicone case that we get on phone nowadays. Apparently, if you even get a case in the box of your phone nowadays, you should be thankful, because there are a lot of brands out there that don't even give you a case. There are 3 cameras at the back of the phone and a flashlight, and we have the Redmi branding written around the camera area. We also have 108 MP written around the same camera area. The frame of the phone is made of plastic and it has a matte finish, which means you can't see fingerprint stains on that area. It got me thinking why Xiaomi didn't use the same material at the back of the phone. It charges through a USB-C port, and the SIM card tray is also at the bottom part of the phone. The phone has a hybrid SIM card slot, which simply means it supports 2 SIM cards or a SIM card and an SD card at the same time. You get 2 speakers on the phone, one at the bottom and the second one at the top. The sound you get from this phone is impressive, and it also supports Dolby Atmos, which gives you a more immersive listening experience. You also get the legendary IR blaster and the headphone port at the top of the phone, accompanied by a tiny microphone for calls. Design-wise, it's kind of impressive coming from the pandemic of iPhone-like designs that have been seen over the last couple of months. The phone also has an IP54 water and dust resistance rating. What this means is that it can only survive some splash of water. Don't submerge this phone in the water because it has an IP rating. It's not like an IP64 water resistance rating. Turn the phone up front and we have a 6.67 inch AMOLED display, and for me, that's how big the screen of a phone should be. The screen has 1080p resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. By default, the phone is set to 60Hz refresh rate. When you start using it, you have to go and change it to 120Hz refresh rate. And you also don't get the option of 90Hz or auto refresh rate in the settings of the phone. The display comes close to 2000 nits of brightness, which means if you are outside, you can see the screen without having any issues. The display is flat and there's a punch hole cutout up front. The ring around the punch hole cutout is noticeable. It comes with an optical under display fingerprint scanner, and I was impressed by how quick it unlocked the phone. It's not one of those fingerprint scanners like what we have on the Camon 20 Pro that you have to press and hold it before it unlocks the phone. With this, anytime you just place your finger on the fingerprint scanner, it unlocks the phone without putting too much pressure. The bezels around the display are also not even, but for the price, you can't complain. Above all, it's responsive to touch, and you're also getting a Gorilla Glass 3 display, which makes it a bit better than the average glass out there. There is also a tiny sheet of screen protector applied to the display. You can raise to wake the display or tap to wake it when it's dim, but by default, it's not turned on. You have to go into the settings of the phone and turn that feature on. Since it's an AMOLED display, you also get the always on feature. The phone has a 5000 mAh battery and it can last a whole day and more depending on how you use it. It also supports 33 watt fast charging, and thankfully Xiaomi has provided a 33 watt fast charger inside the box, which is also just great. Most of the brands out there don't even give you a charger, even with $150 phones nowadays. The charger charges the phone from 0 to 50% in around 30 minutes and you get a full 100% battery charge in an hour. As far as my testing goes, the battery is impressive and the charging speed is also very okay for a phone of $150. The Redmi Note 13 4G is a good option if you have a budget of $150. Will I recommend the phone to people? Yes, I'm definitely going to recommend it. You're going to get a very good camera experience, especially when you use the 108 megapixel option in the camera app. The software and performance is also very impressive. You're also going to get a phone with good battery life and fast charging speed. In case you have any question, feel free to drop it in the comment of this video, and you can tap on the video showing on your screen right now to see my comparison of the Tecno Camon 20 Pro and Tecno Spark 20 Pro. Have a good day.